guys, welcome back to this week's video. In today's video, I decided to do some no heat curls slash waves. And I really wanted to keep this authentic, and I am not going to use any heat whatsoever. I know that sometimes with like no heat curls or waves, you know, if it doesn't turn out right, sometimes you'll use some kind of hot tool to kind of fix up the weird parts and then, you know, use no heat for the rest of the hair, and some people count that as no heat curls, but I wanted to keep it completely 100% no heat. I'm going to show you guys how to do 4 different types of no heat curls slash waves, and the reason I say waves is because oftentimes they're actually more waves than curls, and they're also really easy to do. And I also wanted to keep these options to be really comfortable to wear as well. So like, because I know that most of the time you'll probably be wearing this overnight while you're sleeping, and you don't want to be wearing something that's uncomfortable to sleep in, because why go through pain for pretty hair? So I actually haven't done no heat curls or waves in quite a long time. I sometimes do it with Eve just because sometimes when she takes a shower, I'll just braid her hair and then I'll leave it in until the next day. With braids, you do get better results than say curls or techniques that would help you get curls, just because I think it's just easier for you to not get like weird creases when you're braiding the hair. So 3 of these are actually going to be braids: French braids, Dutch braids, and rope twists. And for the third one, I'm not sure what it's called, but I've seen it all over Instagram, and it's just where they use a bathrobe rope, just the thing that you use to tie your bathrobe, and they wrap their hair around the rope, and then they leave it overnight, and you get beautiful curls in the morning. I actually don't have a robe, so I'm going to be using a bandana instead, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work just as great. So that's the only alternation I have. For these no heat curls slash waves, I also wanted to compare using only water on one side and then adding in like hold products on the other side. Just because I think it's kind of fun to see, you know, the results from when you just use water to when you're adding in products that'll also help your curls or waves to hold. So how I'm gonna do that is I'll just split the hair in half. I'll only use water on the left side, and then on the right side I'll also wet it down, but I'm gonna be adding gel and mousse. For 2 of my mannequin heads, I'm also going to be adding some leave-in conditioner, just because curly hair tend to use up more moisture, and I feel like if I just added that little bit extra moisture, it's just going to help the hair to hold and to turn out better. So we'll see how this turns out. So for the first hairstyle, we're going to be starting off with the no heat curls. I'm going to be adding in some leave-in conditioner and some gel and some mousse. The reason I'm adding in the leave-in conditioner is because her hair is bleached and it's really dry, and I wasn't planning on it, but when I got it wet, I noticed it was just super dry. So I'm going to put that in there to kind of help the hair not be so dry. And then on the left side, I'm just going to wet it, and that's all I'm going to do. When I add the products in, I'm making sure that I brush it all through so that it is distributed evenly. For the curls, I'm going to be using a bandana, and it's actually something that is kind of viral, that like this technique, and they usually use a thing that you use to tie your bathrobe with, but I don't have one, so I'm going to be using a bandana. And at the time, I thought that it was going to be fine, but it is a little bit different. Anyways, so I'm placing my bandana on top of the head, and I put the other side in a ponytail, and then I grabbed the front section, and then I just made sure to brush it through, and then I wrapped the section around the bandana all the way around, and then I added new hair in. So how I'm grabbing sections is just wherever it's laying. So I started off by grabbing the section that's in front of the bandana, and now that I've got all the hair that's in front of the bandana in, I'm going to start adding it from behind the bandana, but just continuing wrapping the hair and brushing it through, making sure it's all smooth. And that's kind of a crucial part of no heat curls, is making sure that your hair is smooth and tangle free. It is a little bit tedious to have to brush your hair so often, but the result will come out better. Like that way, like you don't want to have like weird like crinkles in the hair when you take them out. So just make sure you brush it through really, really well. And yeah, just taking the sections where they naturally fall, and then just wrapping it around. Something that I didn't realize when I was filming this is that doing no heat curls or waves on mannequin heads is actually a little bit different than doing on like a real head. For one, it takes forever to dry because mannequin heads don't have natural heat from the scalp. So I actually had to go in with a blow dryer to dry her hair like 2 days later. And another thing is, wherever the hair is parted when it's wet, and if it dries that way, it will stay like that for a long time, like days type of thing. So when you guys do the techniques, your crease will show up for a little bit in the beginning, but it's gonna loosen up throughout time. So I'm on the right side now, and I'm doing the exact same thing, starting from the top, getting all the hair in front of the bandana end first, and then going in the back. And once I get to the bottom, like once I have no hair to add in, I'm just going to continue wrapping the hair around the bandana. Okay, so fast forward a couple days, it is almost dried. I did blow dry it, but I wasn't patient enough to make sure that it was all the way dry, so it's a tiny bit wet in some spots, but it's fine. So I tried to do the trick where I just pull the bandana out, but the hair was like wrapped like around the bandana and it just like wasn't coming out. So I went in section by section to kind of loosen up, and then I pulled it out. So now I'm just gonna go in those sections again and just breaking the curls apart. And I found this to be pretty hard just because the bandana is thicker at the top and then it gets thinner as you go down. So the curls in the back were super tight, and the curls in the front were like really loose. And really tight curls are really hard to pull out. And her hair was dry on the left side since I didn't add any products in. So it kind of looks like a mess to me. And to fix the really tight curls, because it's a major difference. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I didn't like it. You don't want to wear hair like that. So since I'm not going to be using any heat, my solution to this problem is water. So once I'm finished like loosening up and breaking apart the bigger chunk curls, I'm gonna go in with a comb, and then I'll just brush. I'm gonna go section by section in the back and brush it through, and then I'll lightly spritz some water on it. You don't want to do very much, just because if you do too much, and once you brush it through, it's gonna get completely straight, and then you won't have any curls at all. So right here, I just have my section in the back, and you really, really want to go like kind of like a small section, just because these curls are so tight, and I know it's more of a pain to have to go in smaller sections because that means you have to take more time and do more sections, but it's in the long run, it's actually a little bit easier. So I brushed the hair through, and I'm just lightly spritzing the water on, and then I'm gonna brush it through again. And I'm not like pulling the hair super straight, but when I get it wet, I am pulling it just a little bit, just so that it can loosen up. And then if it's tight enough, I'll just twirl it around my finger and then let it loose like I just did here. Or sometimes I'll just wrap it around 2 fingers and then I'll just drop it. And so I found that both works great. And if you do it too wet and it becomes loose, I don't really think it's that big of a deal, just because you already have quite a few different textures going on, so, but that's your choice. So I'm just gonna finish fixing the back, and then I'll show you the final result. So for our second hairstyle, we're going to be doing some French braids. And there is a difference between French braids and Dutch braid, and it is that the sections go over the middle, not under the middle. And I'm actually going to be doing, I'm not, never mind. I was planning on doing some Dutch braids, but then I forgot to film it. So we're actually not going to be doing some Dutch braids, but it's fine. Maybe I'll show it some other time. So I already wetted the hair on both sides, and I added products in on the right side, the exact same products as last time. And so what I did was I split the hair down the middle, and then I started with the right side and split that in half as well. So I have 4 sections. With each of the sections, I'm going to be doing some French braids. So it's pretty easy. I just started off with the top, and I find with wet hair, for the very first slice of hair, I like to take a comb to section it out. I just find it's a little bit easier. And then I split that into 3, and then I brought the sides into the middle. So I brought the left side into the middle and then the right side. And then I go in with the left side again, but this time add new hair in, and then I repeat on the right side. The reason I wanted to add easy braids is because I want to keep this simple and, so that you guys can do them yourself too. And I also think, the hair turns out better the simpler it is. So I'm just going to finish braiding this little chunk, and then I'll move on to the next 3 sections. And then I'll show you what the end result looks like. Now that it is dry, I'm gonna go ahead and just take the braids out. I don't remember how long it took, but I think it took way less longer than the curls. So I'm gonna go in, and what I did for the ends was I just rubber banded it. So I took out the rubber bands, and then I unraveled the braids. So with little braids, you're gonna get tighter waves, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's kind of bad, because it can either turn out, looking really good, or it can turn out looking like you are like a homeless person. So I think because of I don't know why, but the creases just didn't want to go away from the sections. So she kind of looked bad, but I think she could have looked cute if she didn't have those. I think today her waves turned out really good. I just think it didn't suit her haircut. For our final hairstyle, I'm going to be doing 2 French rope twists. And they're fairly easy. It can be hard at first, but once you get the hang of it, it'll become really easy. So I'm using my curly mannequin head, and I've just wetted it down and put products in again, and I'm going to start on the right side. So I'm taking a slice of hair on the top, and I like to take triangular sections. And I think with braids is that you can also wear it during the day too. So like if you want, like, you know, in the morning when you're fixing your hair, just put your hair in a French braid, a Dutch braid, or a rope twist, or I don't know, or even a basic braid, and then you just wear it and then go to sleep that night. And then the next morning, you know, you basically already did your hair because all you have to do is take your hair out. So with my triangle section, I split it in half, and then I twisted each section towards the face, so to the right, and then I wrap the hair to the left. So I twisted the section towards the face, and then you'll see in a minute here, but once I'm done twisting them, I bring the right section over to the top, so like wrapping it around each other. And the reason you do that is because when you're twisting it one way and then you wrap it the other way, it actually will stay together, like when you once you get to the point where you don't add a hair in. So yeah, so for the very first section though, before I even started adding in new hair to each section, I actually wrapped the hair around each other first, and then I twisted it, just because I find that it lays better and I don't get any weird bumps. And then for the next section, I started adding in hair. So just a quick overview again. I twisted the section to the face, so towards the face, and then I brought the bottom section up and over the top section, so wrapping it around each other. And just remember to add new hair in, twist, and wrap. And just go all the way down. And then once you're done adding in new hair, just continue twisting each strands towards the face and then wrapping them around each other. And after each time you wrap the hair around, just make sure you twist it up again, because when you are wrapping the hair around each other, it tends to loosen up a little bit, and you want to keep this
Once
tight.
I'm finished with this side, I'll just repeat on the other side, and then I'll show you the end result. So fast forward a day or two, it is dry now, so I'm going to take the braids out. So I'm just taking the rubber bands out here, and then I'm gonna unravel the hair. And with this braid, you do want to go in like section by section to kind of take it out, and just make sure that you're gentle. And then once I'm done getting all the like sections loose, and then I'll go in and just run my hands through and just to kind of brush the curls out. So normally you actually want to go with your hands to like, with your fingers to like separate the curls instead of like brushing it. I find that with Eve, it works better to kind of brush the hair with my fingers. But for this girl right here, Dahlia, I should have done that instead of running my hand through like a brush. So her hair did end up a little crazy, and I didn't really do anything to fix it. So, but yeah, so I'm just gonna continue. See, so like right here, I'm brushing out. And at first it looked fine, but once I started getting to the top, that's when it starts to look a little bit crazy. But it's fine. There's a reason why mannequin heads exist. So I'm just gonna continue brushing it out, and I'm not really gonna use water to fix it because that's not really gonna help me. But what I do like to do is, instead of having her wear a middle part, I have her wear a side part. And with, like, if you're doing it on yourself, that should be a little bit easier than on a mannequin head, just because like the mannequin head, it just like pops right back to the middle part. So I was able to do it for a little bit, but it didn't really work out. But so yeah, so that's another way to kind of fix like hair that didn't turn out very well, is to just like flip your hair parting.